Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Technology Integration from NeoNet. My name is Dan, and in this episode we are looking at different ways that we can integrate technology into math classrooms, particularly using Google Slides. Alright, so we're going to go over a couple of different things in this short video for you. The first thing I'm going to show you guys is how to make your Google Slides presentation into an interactive board that will have different backgrounds. In this case, we're looking at a grid. So what you want to do is find a grid that you like. I found this one right off Google Images. This one has a nice grid layout to it, good for practicing with all the different content items that math teachers will do with grids, lines, shapes, curves, all that sort of stuff. And now what we're going to look at is how to make it a background. The reason you want to make it a background is because if you just insert a picture, you can accidentally move it just like this. So if you're putting a shape on your chart, or on your graph rather, sorry, and you're moving it around showing different sizes or moving it across the grid, and you accidentally click on the grid and move it, everything is all messed up from there. So what you want to do is make it a background, and this is what what I did with this slide here. Notice however much I click, I can add a bunch of stuff into this slide. Nothing's going to make this grid in the background move because it's a background. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first step is to make a new slide. I'm just going to go ahead and just make a blank new slide here, and what you want to do is go up to this background button at the top, and then this little pop-up will come up asking you what do you want to make your background. I'm going to choose image because there's a picture of a grid that we want. So we can upload an image, we can take a snapshot with our camera, we can do it by a URL, we can do it from my own albums, my own Google Drive, or we can just search for it. I'm just going to choose search, and I'll just search for a blank grid. And here we go, there's some options. I don't think I'm seeing the one that I had originally. This one's pretty close. So we'll go ahead and use this one. And then just click done. And then boom, there we go. We have our grid now as our background. No matter how much I click and move stuff around, nothing is going to make this grid move because it's now part of the background. So I can add in curves and shapes and stuff with all this stuff up here along the top. We can add in pictures, shapes, lines. If you wanted to do curves, if you're talking about functions and all that sort of stuff, when you want to make a curve to display it, you can do that by choosing the curve button under the lines, and then it'll come up with the curve options. All right, and when you're making out your curve, you can just draw it to whatever points that you want. And when you're done, make sure you double click at the end to finish drawing the curve. If you only give it one click, it'll just keep drawing the curve. So you have to double click to finish drawing the line. All right, and then of course once you have the curve or the line all drawn, you're able to change the color of it, change how thick it is. I'll kind of make it a little bit thicker here. Let's make it 8 points so it's nice and big here. Make it blue, it's nice and easy to see. Oh, that colored under it. So hey, if you're talking about coloring area under a line, you can do that too. Sorry, rather put it on the line. There we go. And then change the color and move. And then from there, you can obviously move it around. Again, if you give it a double click again from this point, you can change the points on the curve as well. All right. So that was moving items, drawing curves, making a graph your background. A couple other things I'm going to show you is other fun ways to use your Google Slides in your math classroom in different ways. So this one is a fun way to kind of demonstrate absolute value. So you just find a number line. I made it the background just like I did for the other one. So this is again just straight off Google Images, and made that the background. And now no matter how much I click and move stuff, it's not going to move the line around. And we can move this to demonstrate absolute value. And you can plug in pictures to make things more fun. I like to demonstrate absolute value by explaining how far Batman goes from the Batcave. So if he goes -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left, he's ultimately 5 away from 0. That's the absolute value. So you can insert those pictures to give you some background. Another cool thing you can do with Google Slides is you can make these little boxes and have different terms in them. And what you can do is have students move the terms around to make it like a true function. So you could say, let's take 5. I'm sorry, well, whatever, 1x, that's fine. 1x equals y. There you go. There's a very simple function for you. So if you're talking about functions, you can do that, or you can have students do some algebra. If you want students to move items around to show them how to isolate a variable from either side of the equal sign, you can do that. Lots of different options you can do there. One other thing I'll show you guys as well, you can also throw in pictures and kind of combine them with your graphs. This is a fun way to demonstrate ratios. So if we have, I just pulled in a picture of a Corvette, and we say the real length of the car is 180 inches long, and we just move the car to fit on the graph. And it's a student's job to figure out how big the length of the toy car would be if it's a 1/16th model. And at the same time, they would have to copy and paste the picture of the big Corvette and make it a model size, how big they would actually be compared to each other. All right. So that was a couple of fun ways for using Google Slides and making items backgrounds and pictures and all that sort of good stuff in the math classroom. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.